Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football and welcome back to a late night live show. It is the international break. The news is a little bit scrape the barrel, not the most exciting, but we do have a few interesting stories from Fabrizio Romano, Manchester United, Frankie de Jong, what happened this summer, news on Antony, Newcastle United prepared to do a 40 million January deal for Antony if they cannot get Elanga, Dan Ashworth sorting an exit for Antony. United, could be confident of sale. Mixed reports on Antony leaving. But the international break does bring elements of Man United players going off on international duty and being good. Ugarte having a good game. Some of the youngsters, Obi Martin Lusale, that were about to come in and join the first team, playing on international duty, having good games. Kobbie Mainoo, people are trying to make out he was bad because he gave the ball away and got a yellow card, but Kobbie Mainoo had a good game. Xerxes just getting a goal and an assist, should have got a second assist, he put it on a plate. I mean, there's a lot of positivity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into the news, we're going to talk about the international break, we're going to talk about United, and I might do a bit of a Q&A at the end of the live show. I don't normally go live this late. Actually, we wasn't going to do an upload. And I thought, you know what, I'm not doing anything. Let's do a live, let's have a chat, let's get into the news, and then tomorrow morning I'll do like a proper short video on United Youth and the project, and I want to make quite a formal video this morning, so do subscribe for that. But let's dive into it. Big up everybody in the chat as well. People saying not live. I mean, I was live, but I think the live just delayed by like 30 seconds. But let's dive into the news on Antony. So Newcastle United are considering a move for Antony if their pursuit of Antony Elanga falls through. United are open to selling for 40 million. Howe highly appreciates his skills and believes he'd be a valuable addition. So this was the interesting news story coming, and this was the interesting report. Antony to Newcastle if they can't get Antony Elanga. So I'm going to tell you something about the whole Antony Newcastle situation. Newcastle United this summer wanted a centre-back, ideally a right centre-back, because they brought in Kelly and Botman's a lot younger than Shah. They wanted a right centre-back. They looked at Gay. They looked at Malik Chow, AC Milan. And they also wanted a right winger. Newcastle United made the 50 million bid for Elise. They wanted the right winger. They made a 50 million bid for Elanga, didn't they, on deadline day? And Nottingham Forest rejected that. Newcastle United want a winger. They're quite desperate for someone that can play on the right, because while Jacob Murphy has been all right for Newcastle, he's not the long-term answer. Almiron is just not that good, let's be honest. And Harvey Barnes and Gordon are both best on the left. And Harvey Barnes always reminds me of a Josh Trossard or a Shotter, that guy that's going to come off the bench and make an impact. So Newcastle want a right winger. Now, what Eddie Howe looks for in wingers is work rate. He looks most predominantly at work rate, pressing, and then someone that can, make an impact in the final third. Now, I can see exactly why Paul Mitchell was looking at Elanga for his work rate. He is the right wing variant in Anthony Gordon. There is a video of me saying 2 years ago that Anthony Gordon and Anthony Elanga are very similar players. So I can see why they're looking at Anthony Elanga. Now, I can actually see why Newcastle could have an interest in Anthony, in terms of the kind of player that he is, in terms of his work rate, in terms of Howe's system. I just don't know where they're getting a 40 million price. I don't know where we'd get 40 million for Antony for. I think we'd have to sell for 25 million. But I think if you watched Antony at Ajax, he was a good player. Like, Antony's been bad at United. I want him gone. But if you watched Antony at Ajax, he wasn't a bad player. He's not he's not an 85 million player. If we decided for 35 million, I'd have said that's a good deal. He's just come to United and been awful. Now, this season there's no excuses for Antony. He's got Mazraoui coming in. He's got his court case has been dropped, so he can't use sort of that as an excuse. I know it's still ongoing in the UK, but his court case looks to have been dropped. There's no excuses for Antony. So potentially, it's one of those situations where, either, we're just being linked to Antony and it's just a nonsense report. So Newcastle just being linked to Antony and it's a nonsense report. Or maybe there's something in it. I don't know. Now, if I'm going to be honest, this is my thought process on all the news. Rabiot to United rumours of us bringing him in on free, not going to happen. Ericsson leaving, yes, but not now. It would be in January or the summer as a free agent. Lindelof leaving as a free agent, I expect that to happen. Casemiro leaving in 2025, if an offer comes in, I expect that to happen. Harry Maguire leaving in 2025, potentially. Antony leaving in 2025, potentially, if an offer comes in. Now, for me, I think if an offer comes in, United are open to selling Antony. But the question with Antony has been, will someone show an interest in Antony? Will an offer ever come in for Antony? That's always been the question. So if Newcastle do have an interest in Antony, there's potential there. But Antony himself has made it quite obvious he doesn't want to leave United. He doesn't have plans to leave. But it may get to the point where he is not playing over Amad Garnacho and Rashford. He wants minutes. He goes to Newcastle as well. The thing is, Eddie Howe, I think, and it sounds weird because Antony played his best football under Ten Hag at Ajax, but I do think Eddie Howe is a manager that is very, like, would get the best out of Antony, could get a tune out of Antony. If I'm going to be honest, someone says Antony and Sancho cannot cope with Premier League pace. I think Sancho definitely struggled with the physicality of the Premier League more than Antony. I just think Antony's predictability and him being really one-footed is what caused him issues as well. Alice and Anthony Gordon swap deal maybe. Do you know what, Newcastle, if you want to give us Gordon and in return we'll give you Antony, I'm all for that deal. But I don't think Newcastle are that silly. You know, Dan Ashworth, you come into United and then mugging off Newcastle for United once, then mugs off Newcastle again, trading Antony for Anthony Gordon. Can't see that happening. I do want to talk about Ahmad and more in a second. So yeah, Antony is better than Elanga. I wish him well. I think he needs to move on. I'd rather have Elanga than Antony if I was going to be honest, but look, I think for me, I'd like Antony to, when he gets minutes for United, produce, do something good for us. So then we're in a position where clubs may give us 30 million for him. I'd love Antony to, let's say Antony starts 13 games this season. He's involved in about 25 games across the season and he gets, 12 goals, 7 assists, good season. Shows he's done well. United can get 35, 40 million for him. Like, for me, that is the ideal situation with Antony as well. Antony has potential to improve, but time's not on his side. I mean, he's still young, but this is his third season at United, and Omar Brada and Dan Ashworth's kind of rule was 2 seasons at United if you don't perform, you're out. So Antony, has already had his 2 seasons of not performing, but he's luckily stayed luckily, when I say luckily in his sense, stayed because he doesn't want to go. And then United have pretty much said if Mason Mount doesn't perform, he's gone. If Luke Shaw cannot stay fit this season, he's gone. If Marcus Rashford doesn't perform, he could be gone. Like Ineos are really big on this clear out of you've got 2 seasons to perform or you're out as well. But let's dive back into the news. Let's dive back into the stories because there is a lot to talk about. If you just joined the live show, it has been said that Newcastle are considering a move for Antony if their pursuit of Antony Elanga falls through and that United are open to selling Antony for 40 million. How highly appreciates his skill and believes to be a valuable addition. If we can somehow get 40 million for Antony, I'd be absolutely amazed and gasp with that. But look, I don't see this happening. I would take this with a pinch of salt, and we're very far away from January as well. So let's talk about, the international break, because to be honest, I don't like the international break. I'm assuming some of you guys don't like the international break. I'm assuming most of us don't like the international break. It's just, if we're going to be totally honest, the international break is a bit boring. Now, it's nice to, I think, have a break. It's been an intense transfer window. We've lost to Liverpool. Maybe we need a break, get players back. At least Højlund's back after the break. Shaw's back after the break. Mount's back after the break. Euro should be back soon. There's elements of that. Ugarte goes and gets minutes in the international break. Bruno gets minutes. They can freshen up. Maino gets minutes. They can freshen up because they didn't have a preseason. There's positives of it, but I'm someone that just doesn't like the international break. For me, there shouldn't be an international break as early as September. For me, there should be 2 international breaks a year where they play 4 games instead of 8. Instead of having 8 international games, it should be 4. There should be 1 beginning of November, and there should be 1 in March. We don't need a September one. We don't need an October one. That's what I think, to be honest. But the international break is going well for Manchester United and going well on the Manchester United side of things. Joshua Zirkzee has an assist and a goal so far. Could have got a second assist as well. Amad Diallo had a very, very good game. Gabo Bianchiri scored for Wales under 19s. New signing Obi Martin scored again for Denmark in their win over Norway. Another new signing, Samuel Lusale, got a goal and assist as well. Joshua Zirkzee, he's just having an unbelievable game. The international break for United's going well, and there's a sort of this debate going on of is Ten Hag the problem? Because the United players that have been average for us will go away on international duty and look absolutely amazing. There is often talk of is Ten Hag the problem there? Is it the system? Is it the structure? All of that as well. San Marino finally got a win. Interesting there as well. Saudi clubs would definitely go in for Antony. I doubt he would go there unless they hand him silly wages. He loves Ronaldo and wanted to play with Ronaldo, but yeah, I agree as well. If Ten Hag doesn't perform next 2 games, he's gone. I wouldn't say 2 games. I'd say he's got 10 games to perform. But I think, there is sort of talk going around at the moment of why are these United players playing crap under Ten Hag and good on the international break? Not all of the players. Obviously, some of them have been good under Ten Hag. Garnacho got an assist yesterday as well. There is a little bit of talk of his Ten Hag getting the best out of the players. I think that's the one worry. His system, doesn't seem to be working yet. I mean, Ten Hag's a guy that's known for getting the best out of young players and stuff. And his full system isn't in place, but you do look at the whole situation and say, do you know what? what someone said here. Um, what's going on here? Oh, nothing. Nothing. But yeah, sorry, I got sent something about Delict and someone was waffling about Delict, but it was just that as well. You can't blame the form of the players. It's Eric Ten Hag's system that sucks. Sure, it can go well in the odd game, but big deal as well. Yeah, true. I think it's quite unfair to say, oh, the players are good in international break. It's totally Ten Hag's fault. The players can pick and choose when they want to show up and stuff. I don't think it's Ten Hag's fault. I think, there's elements of Ten Hag can do better and Ten Hag could be doing more to get the best out of some of our players. But I don't look at the situation at United and say, Ten Hag is ruining this player and Ten Hag is ruining that player. I want to see a little bit more from a few players, but I do believe, from what we saw from Ten Hag at Ajax, what we can see in time is Ten Hag hopefully coaching and improving the Manchester United squad for sure. Guys, we've got a little bit of lag going on as well. A lot of people are saying Rashford is finished. Look, I was a bit concerned because of Rashford sort of not liking to take on his man and not having a shot. Like, I wouldn't say Rashford is finished. People said Rashford was finished before, and he wasn't. But my big worry in regards to Marcus Rashford is he's completely short of confidence. He's not had a shot in the Premier League. He's always opting for the pass, which is fine. It's unselfish, but it's almost like he's scared to have a shot in case he misses, and people call him selfish. He's not looking to take on his man as much. I definitely think that Rashford is lacking confidence as well. Do you think United would be able to sell Casemiro? I think we should be able to sell Casemiro if the player himself really is pushing for the move as well. Xerxes played well against Bosnia. I thought Maino played well against Ireland, if I'm going to be honest. But people are trying to make out that Maino had a bad game versus Ireland because people are so annoyed that we hyped up Maino and he was actually good. And he's not just one of those wonder kids like Brandon Williams that gets hyped up and it just doesn't make it. Although I think Brandon Williams did have a few external issues and there's a few rumours around that whole scenario. But I think people are always looking for a way to hate on Kobbie Mainoo. He plays for United. People are mad that we've got a youngster that is this good and they're looking to put him down. This whole Adam Wharton, Kobbie Mainoo debate. Crystal Palace haven't been good in their opening games. Their opening 3 games, Adam Wharton. I like Adam Wharton, but he's not. Do you know what I mean? Crystal Palace haven't been good. So, people sort of try to make out that Mainoo's crap and Adam Wharton's clear. And then people compare Mainoo to Harvey Elliott. And Harvey Elliott is a completely different profile of player. I don't know why people do it, but there's obsession with trying to bring Mainoo down in any circumstance possible. But Adam Wharton wasn't great for Palace versus Brentford. He wasn't great for Palace versus West Ham. And he was all right for Palace versus Chelsea. They got a 1-1 draw. But, Adam Wharton's not done loads this season. We're only 3 games in. I think he's a good player. He's a player I would like at maybe United in the future. But they've gone from trying to compare him to Harvey Elliott to trying to compare him with Adam Wharton to try and... It's I don't know what it is with rivals, but they're always trying to say this player's better than Kobbie Mainoo or that player's better than Kobbie Mainoo. It's, I think, a little bit bad. Rasmus Højlund is expected back in the next 2 weeks. I don't know if he'll be back in time for Southampton and Barnsley, but he's expected back mid-September, which is when the international break sort of closes off. But when mid-September could be September 10th, it could be September 20th. And, the games are September 14th. So he's expected back around mid-September as well. But also, I'd rather not rush Højlund back if we're getting doubts. I'm glad that Højlund could be back. Bish, bash, bosh, good. But let's not rush Højlund back if we're getting doubts. Ama was playing against my country and he was awesome, no lie. We're going to talk about Ama Diallo, his future, what he did on international break as well, and all that as well. Premier League's a lot faster than international football, absolutely. It's very different, Jordan Pickford can be crap for Everton, but great for England. There's a lot of players that are good on international break, but they're not great for their country. I remember under Ollie Maguire was poor for a whole year under us, but it was unreal on international break in the World Cup and the Euros. I mean, to be fair, I thought Maguire's had decent spells at United, but Maguire's had some awful spells at United where he's gone on international break and he's been good. The Obi Martin situation isn't 100% sorted, but it's essentially we know it's happening and we know it's happening soon and there's no fears or worries about it. It's just not 100% sorted as well. But he is scoring goals for Denmark's youth, which is really, really exciting as well. A lot of people saying Rooney, our striker. I did see that Rooney free kick. It was absolutely unbelievable, that free kick from Wayne Rooney, wasn't it, as well? People need to lay off Rashford, get behind. If you want to crap on your own players, Arsenal's a club for you. I agree. Rashford hasn't been good. He hasn't been good enough, but he's shot on confidence. The transfer window's closed. We can't sell Rashford and replace him. So my thought process is this: let's get behind Rashford and hope he gets back to his best. Because if Rashford gets back to his best and he gets 30 goals for us, we're going to be in a very different position than a Rashford low on confidence. So we can criticise Rashford, but I do think people just go in and on about Rashford. And I just think, well, the best thing we can do is hope that we can get some confidence into Rashford and show some belief rather than just constantly blaming him for everything, because he's a player that, you know, looks like he's fallen out of love with football and has completely lost his relationship with the fans. 2 full seasons and 2 matches this season, Premier League. We've already lost 25 Premier League games, only 13 games away from 38. That's 1 full season of Premier League games lost. I can see United losing 15 more games. I mean, that is a negative way to look at things. Our form hasn't been good enough and we do need to get results and step up. For me, it's not necessarily about form. It's about, do I see progress? Am I seeing what Ten Hag is trying to do? Am I seeing a style of play? Like, what I'm going to be looking for at Manchester United is Ten Hag implementing a style of play? Do I believe in that style of play? Do I like what I'm seeing? That's how I sort of feel about it at United, waiting for Ten Hag to implement a style of play and seeing if I like that as well. None of our forwards are performing. It's a system problem and manager problem. And that's one thing that Ten Hag's got to up. You know, the system, we've got to get the best out of these players 100% as well. Someone said technically Ireland one too. You know, you can't write it. Well, you can write it. That's exactly how you'd write it. But the 2 Irish people, in terms of Grealish and Declan Rice, who used to play for Ireland, the Irish fans had a sign up saying that Grealish and Declan Rice were snakes before the game. And they're the 2 players that score and the 2 best players on the pitch as well. Xerxes looks well handy. You can tell by the way he plays one-touch balls. He's going to be class. I mean, Xerxes, yeah, I haven't watched the Netherlands game that's ongoing now, but from the clips that keep going all over my feed, his passing, his movement, he looks absolutely brilliant as well. Maino and Wharton are different positions, exactly, but the people are trying to force this Maino-Wharton debate and this Maino-Harvey Elliott debate to why Maino shouldn't be in the England squad, and if I'm going to be totally honest, I think it's silly. You know, I saw someone saying that, you know, Adam Wharton's better than Maino because Adam Wharton's been given a higher FIFA card this year. I don't know what it is, but people love to sort of drag Maino down at any opportunity. And if someone can like slag Maino off, they will. I think people don't like that Maino's proving them wrong. I think people thought that Maino was just some overrated guy. And I think people don't like how good Maino is and that he's proving all his haters wrong. So they're looking for any opportunity when possible to slag them off as well. Jadon Sancho has posted calling Jurgen Klopp a legend. Jadon Sancho hates United. I'm convinced of it. Jadon Sancho's commented on a post calling Jurgen Klopp a legend. You know, that's the most Jadon Sancho thing. You know, I know that Jadon Sancho was at Dortmund, but he was never at Dortmund when Klopp was there. So it is a bit weird that Jadon Sancho's commenting and calling Jurgen Klopp a legend, but I don't really care. I mean, I just think Jadon Sancho is disrespectful, and I don't get Man United fans that blindlessly back Jadon Sancho. I see Man United fans fuming that Jadon Sancho's gone, saying it should have been Ten Hag. And I think you have the right to say it should have been Ten Hag that's gone, but I don't get these Man United fans that are blindlessly backing Jadon Sancho. I'm going to be honest, if you're one of those fans who thinks that Jadon Sancho shouldn't be going, you can think that both Jadon Sancho and Ten Hag should go, but I think if you're one of those fans that thinks Jadon Sancho shouldn't be going, I want to know why. He's been in 3 seasons. He's been crap for those 3 seasons. He's caused issues. He's not turned up to training on time. He's not been good enough. We gave Jadon Sancho 4 months of football. And this is what I mean about it. When Jadon Sancho, you can go back to my live streams, you can go back to my watch-alongs, but when Jadon Sancho was given 4 months of football, me and all the other United fans were supporting him. We weren't complaining that he needed to take a 4-month break. We were supporting him. We were there for him. We're like anything to get him back to his best because we know there's a quality player there. But he's been bang average, and we supported him for 4 months off. The reason I lost my support for Sancho is because he did a statement calling out the manager. Now, you could do a statement calling out the manager, but if you haven't got the balls to apologise and you'd rather sit and not play football for 4 months and leave United to hang out to dry, because of your stubbornness, then you're not a United player. You don't know what it means to wear the shirt if you'd rather sit and not play football for 4 months. He gives Dortmund this big sending off paragraph. He's been at Dortmund 6 months. He gives them this big sending off paragraph about the best 6 months of his life. His bye-bye to United was bye-bye United. The United fans don't like you, Jadon, because you disrespected the club and you didn't know what it meant to play for the club. And now he's going around calling Jurgen Klopp a legend and bigging up Jurgen Klopp. And it's, you know, Jadon Sancho doesn't get Manchester United and he never will. And he you know, what a waste of money here. And people back Sancho, and there's people saying we should have sold Sancho. You know, I wanted Sancho to be the Sancho that at Dortmund at United. I believed in Sancho. It was probably the most excited I've been about a Man United signing post Alex Ferguson, Sancho or Bruno probably. But he's a knobhead, and that's what it was as well. Maino was really good. Can't believe people are slagging them off. Just people are jealous of Maino as well. Sancho hates us, probably. Exactly, Alice. Why would you be trying really hard to be your best when all you're hearing is people saying that it's all your fault? And Trashford, people don't like Maino because he's from United. Exactly. For me, look, I think Rashford hasn't been good enough, but I think all we can do is get behind Rashford and hope he finds form. And if he doesn't, we'll say he needs to go in the summer. We should get behind Maino. I think we should get behind all of our players. Antony, I want him gone. I want Antony sold. But if Antony's going to play, I'm not going to have a big issue there. I'm going to get behind Antony and hope he does well. If Antony continuously plays crap and Amad Diallo is on the bench again, I have an issue with that. But I'm not going to take that on Antony. I'm going to take that on 10 on for his selection. It's just about getting behind the players and hopefully we can get some confidence in the players as well. Sancho's now Chelsea's problem. If he cooks for Chelsea, it's on Ten Hag. There is the worry, like if he does cook for Chelsea, it's on Ten Hag. But if I'm going to be honest, I don't know about. He wasn't that good for Dortmund. He had a good semi-final against PSG for Dortmund, but actually, you got to think about this. Dortmund could have got Sancho for 25 million, and they chose not to. If Sancho was that good for Dortmund, they'd have easily spent 25 million on him. So that's the way I look at Sancho and stuff as well. Just one of the worst attitudes. A player that I was so excited when we signed. I don't think I've ever been that excited for a new signing at United, but his attitude absolutely stinks. Davis said Wharton will flop at United if he comes in the next 2 years. Our fan base will destroy him. He needs an environment where he has little pressure for the next few seasons. He definitely needs another full season at Palace, maybe 2. I do agree as well. Antony does have the attitude, but Antony doesn't have the attitude, but Sancho does. Thing is, Sancho's a better player than Antony, but Antony has a better attitude in terms of work rate and, shutting up when he's on the bench. That's the thing. You need to be a good player, you need to have the work rate, and you need to have the attitude. And I think Antony has elements of that, but the question is Antony a good player? For me, I think I'd like to get Antony out and get a new winger in. We did look at Diao, Real Betis, and they do have an interest in Antony, but obviously Newcastle, they're watching the Antony situation as well. Do you think Sancho's game time for Chelsea will be limited? I think it will, because they've got Madueke and Neto that are the first choice wingers, and then obviously Sancho's probably on the wing after that, but also like Cole Palmer's going to play in the middle and Kukunjao Felix is going to play potentially on the winger in the middle. Like there's a lot of competition for Sancho at Chelsea, so who knows how many minutes that he will get as well. But let's continue on into some more things as well. Your opinion, when has Ten Hag publicly called out a player only Sancho? What is that? He's called out Rashford. He called out Rashford. I think people don't realise this, but Pep called out Guardiola, said Guardiola wasn't training well enough, and he dropped Guardiola early in the season. There's probably been 10 different managers last season that literally called out a player pre-match and said that's why they were dropped. What Ten Hag did to Sancho is what we seen Pep do, it's what we seen Klopp do, it's what we seen Arteta do all last year as well. The Guardiola one's the first instance I can think of, but there's 4 or 5 instances where what happened with Sancho and Ten Hag happened with other top managers, but only Sancho made the fuss out of it. Guardiola's first 3 months at City were poor. People don't realise how poor Guardiola was until about Christmas time, when he just became really good. Pep called Guardiola out. Pep dropped Guardiola, said he wasn't good enough, said he wasn't training or showing the levels in training. Guardiola, what did he do? He worked super hard and fought his way back into a very competitive Manchester City squad, whereas Sancho said, rather than apologising and working really hard and doing what I can to fight back into United squad because I want to play for United, said I'd rather not play football for 4 months so I can leave. Sancho wasn't willing to fight for the badge. And that's why he was not a Man United signing, because if you sign for Man United and you don't know what this badge means, and you're not willing to give everything for this badge, you shouldn't be wearing a Man United shirt. And Sancho couldn't do that. Guardiola gave everything after Pep called him out, but Sancho acted like a baby. So people blame Ten Hag for that, and maybe Ten Hag could have handled the situation better, but let's not pretend that other managers don't do that. Let's not pretend that one bit as well. So yeah, let's get into some more news. Let's get into some more stories as well, because there's quite a few updates coming out. So Joshua Zirkzee has got a goal and assist in the Netherlands game ongoing now. He had a very, very good game for the Netherlands as well. Netherlands are currently 5-2 up as well. And it was said, United. This is what was said here. I want to show you something on Joshua Zirkzee quickly. I think this is interesting. I want to show you this on Joshua Zirkzee. Here. I don't know if you can see this. but this is what was said here. United fans after Liverpool game. Xerxes not good enough. Should have gone for the experience. United fans after Xerxes goal and assist for the Netherlands. The problem is Ten Hag. United fans are so reactionary and confused no matter whatsoever. Anyone with eyes would have seen he was unlucky not to get at least 2 goals versus Liverpool. He's absolutely smashing it. United, back him. And this guy's absolutely spot on. He's gonna need time to adapt. He's gonna need time to get used to the Premier League and the system. And yes, he did miss chances, but I'm seeing really good signs from Xerxes. I'm seeing really interesting, really good signs from Xerxes. If I'm going to be totally honest as well. I think it just shows how reactionary we can be as a fan base. 1 minute people saying after And this is only a small percentage of the fan base, but there are people in the fan base that, because Xerxes missed 2 big chances versus Liverpool, just decided in their head that Xerxes wasn't good for United and reacted off that game saying Xerxes not good enough, we should sell him. There was people in the fan base that wanted Xerxes sold because he missed those 2 chances versus Liverpool and instantly decided 3 matches into his United career wasn't good enough. And now there's those same United fans saying that Xerxes is amazing and Ten Hag must be the problem because he's got a goal and assist. Why don't we just wait like a year before we're going to judge Xerxes and the signing of Xerxes? Why don't we actually wait rather than just jumping to these conclusions as well? 100%. People forget that Sancho had been given time and support for months. As soon as he was back, he did not rise to the occasion. Sancho was 100% at fault for not taking the opportunity that was given. I agree. Sancho, when he got opportunities and got in pre-season, was all right, but it wasn't like he was so good that he had to start. It wasn't, Rashford was off the back of, Rashford was having a 30-goal season. Sancho was having a season where he took a loads of breaks. And then when he did get chances, he was, for me, I was better than Antony, but he wasn't like so good he could have stayed. Would you have kept Elanga? No, I think it was the right decision to sell Elanga because I think he needed time to develop and he wasn't going to get game time at United. Would I bring back Elanga now? Yes. But I actually do think that Garnacho, Ahmad and Rashford in terms of wingers are more exciting. I think Elanga's more work rate. So I would have Elanga over Antony, but I think it was best for him to leave and develop his career. But Ralph Rangnick always has good talent ID and there was a good player there with good work rate. Xerxes got a man of the match in his game, which is great to see. And Xerxes is going to need time to adapt to the Premier League, but it just really annoys me like how reactionary people are online. Like it really annoys me, people pretending that Xerxes is not good enough for Manchester United because, he missed 2 chances versus Liverpool. After the Xerxes, United fans after the Liverpool game, Xerxes isn't good enough. We need experience. United fans after his goal for Netherlands, Ten Hag's the issue. The reactions are so inconsistent, no patience at all. Xerxes was unlucky not to score twice versus Liverpool. Let's just be patient and back him. Like that's how I feel. If I'm going to be totally honest, let's just be patient and back him. It's just one of those. I agree. Rashford is better than Sancho, 100%. I don't know why people are trying to make out that Sancho is better than Rashford. Rashford was crap last season, but he's still a better player than Sancho. There's no doubt about that. Rashford's done way. Rashford, even last year when Rashford was crap, still got better numbers than Jadon Sancho. Still had a better season than Jadon Sancho when he was crap. So, yeah, I don't know why people try and come out and say that Sancho's better than Rashford. Xerxes could have had 4 assists today. Absolutely could have as well. But I wanted to quickly talk about the youth and a few other stories before I wrap up the live stream as well. But it was said that Bean Cheery scored for Wales under 19s today, and Obi Martin, who's been phenomenal, has scored for Norway's under 18s as well. Obi Martin is expected to join Manchester United very soon once ratification's there. Our other new signing, Samuel Lusale, who is from the Slovakia, who played versus Wales under 18. Apparently, he had a really good game with a goal and assist. So our new academy signings and our youngsters seem to be absolutely balling out at the moment. It was also said by Romano that there's absolutely nothing between United and De Jong this summer, despite the rumours of De Jong coming back to United. And Joshua Xerxes in his 45 minutes did get 1 goal, 1 assist. He did create 2 big chances and 3 shots. In the second half, apparently he created another 2 chances as well. So Joshua Xerxes apparently had a very good game for the Netherlands as well. Someone said Xerxes is a sub for Holland. He started today. This was Xerxes' first sub today as well. And I wanted to talk about Ugarte because he's in the title or thumbnail of this video. But Ugarte, I think, is trying to say he's ready for United. He's ready to start. He's ready to make an impact when he's called upon. Ugarte is quite excited to get stuck in and all of that as well. he had quite a good game versus Paraguay, played 79 minutes, got that under his legs. You know, Ten Hag said, Ugarte might not be ready for mumps. I think Ugarte might have taken the mumps a bit personally. Weeks, I understand, but the mumps comment from Ten Hag was crazy. So Ugarte is back in shape and looking good and getting the minutes in his legs, ready to play for United. And there was rumours of United having talks with Nagelsmann, and there was rumours of us having talks with Tuchel. But the latest report is that if Vivel stays, they will focus on Nagelsmann. If it goes wrong with Ten Hag, they're going to give Ten Hag time, but, you know, Ineos wouldn't be hesitant to change around Christmas time, but they're not going to do anything in the next month in terms of Ten Hag's future. But listen, people, I'm going to wrap up the live show here. I will be back for a morning video. Please do hit that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.